So it'll be two voices that talk between each other. It's a male and a female.
Oh shit! You got AIs talking to each other
about what I do, about like, so you can feed it like almost any link. So I've fed it YouTube links.
I just had a create. What I'm gonna do is take. Be back with another episode of the More Action Podcast. As you can see, we got a repeat guest.
Yeah,
my man Kevin Ewing. And we last time talked about AI and his photography business and what I could do elevating my business, but that was last year. We in some new shoes this time. My business this year has actually elevated off of the information that he gave me in the last video. I'm gonna let him explain how things have been going because he brought up
ChatGPT 5 dropped today, man. It's the perfect time for it to drop.
Exactly. So I'm gonna let him go over that. We're gonna talk a little bit about how it is working with a significant other, if you have one. If you don't, maybe you're working with your brother, sister, family.
If you don't have one, it might be wise to get one. I mean, I like not to cut you off.
You good?
Because you was on a topic that I'm kind of passionate about, but I'll say, like, your relationship is a business decision.
There you go. That's a very good point.
Yeah,
because
like,
you gotta be able to communicate. Finances. Might be a contract in there. You really think about it, it is.
You wanna. I mean, I know when I saw someone that knew more than me about financial literacy, about what to do when the bread hits your account.
Yeah.
Like, that was important to me. A nice credit score was like, okay, like, I'm usually seeing people 540. I mean, and we ain't talking about credit score when we first meet, but it's like when you start to have conversations outside of, hey, what do you do for fun? And then you start talking about, well, I got a car, it's paid off, or I got this and I've done this, and you start to look at it like, oh, like, this is more than a pretty face, or it's more than what you see on the surface.
You can expose your finances through what you're talking about. Yeah.
Right. And then at the end of the day, if you really plan on growing a family with this person, then it's, how are we going to raise these kids together? What are we really building for? Like, if we're not on the same page, long-term goal wise, it may be tough to build together.
How often do you think that needs to happen? Kind of like the basically reminders, just going over the game plan. Because some people will say, oh, you need to talk to your significant other once a month. Do you think it's a scheduled thing you need to come up with, or is this something that just kind of happens when it needs to happen?
Awesome question. So when I was younger, I just turned 39. So when I was probably about 20, 21, I worked with this dude, and he would say, yo, every time I buy something, I got to tell my wife what I bought. And I was like, what? Like, why would you do that? Like, ain't no woman going to tell me, like, she got to know every time I buy something.
That's how a coworker mine is, Joe.
But, man, listen, about every month, we got our debt. We know what we owe on the house. So we got 3 cars. She got one, I got one, my son got one. No car payment.
Okay.
We owe a little under $50K on our home.
Okay, getting close.
Yeah. So good. We starting to see some stuff. I mean, especially like when we're at an event like this and we're like, oh, like, we're gonna take what we learned and we about to blow this thing up to really cut in on that. But we got some credit card stuff. I mean, between traveling, between investing back in ourselves, whether it's trips like this, whether it's buying books and whatever we can do to network and all.
So you're big on investing in assets. I don't hear much liability talk out of you.
Right.
You got the house, which is definitely benefiting you.
Right.
It's making you money because you get to work from this place of peace. You got vehicles that are obviously getting you around, probably making you income as well. Because that's one thing that's been really like on my mind throughout this year is, what are we spending our money on? Whether it's ours or the credit,
Right. Yeah. So
Liabilities.
we got the studio,
Mm-hmm.
and that, I mean, just having a physical space is something that's always sitting here until you got that lease paid off, or if you own the building,
Yeah.
having that, that mortgage on that paid off. So every month, man, we try to look at like what did we do in the past month. So it's not like every time I make a purchase, but it's definitely something that's like on my
Mm-hmm.
mind. Like, all right, if I gotta really look at the purchases that I made, and like you're gonna be a little more conscious. You want to be a little
Yeah.
more smart. It's same thing with like if you want a diet plan or something like that, and they're like,
Right.
all right, you want to count your calories or be in a caloric deficit or something like that. Like
Yeah.
you don't want to look at the end of the day and be like, okay, I had a Snickers and a grape soda at this point, and then I had a bag of
Mm-hmm.
Lay's, and then
Okay.
you want to be able to say like, okay, I did what I was supposed to do, and I'm getting closer to my goal.
Now, see, you're basically making all that happen by, working with your wife, right? And you're
Mm-hmm.
saying that's her side of things. She's
Yeah.
really analytical, observant to those things. Do you think that's a woman role, or do you think, say, it's another couple, right? And
Nah.
the man is more like
Yeah, I
he's,
was gonna say, no, I don't
you know,
believe it's a woman role. I
just.
just believe my woman is dope at that. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's her thing. She's always been more organized than me.
Okay.
She's always been. She just took that stuff a little more serious. So
Mm-hmm.
where I don't think it's a gender role. I think it's personality and just kind of a skill.
Yeah.
She's good at keeping all that stuff organized, and even just waking up checking finances. Like some people, they'll up, I don't want to see what's in my account. I don't want to know what's
Oh,
going
yeah,
on.
they avoid
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so she's like, man, you look at your account today. Do you know what it looks like? Do you know like so
Right.
that even keeps that fire of, yo, we got to bring something in because we're
Yeah.
both entrepreneurs.
Right.
Like our podcast is called Hustle and Heartbeat. The
Mm-hmm.
hustle is we both being entrepreneurs, the running around we doing, the work that we do together. We spend a lot of time together.
Right.
I mean, this year's probably been the least amount of time we've spent together. Probably like 5 6 years. So, probably longer than that, just because she worked from the home, I work from the home,
Mm-hmm.
and so even like in our living room, I got a desk that faces one wall. She has a desk that faces the opposite wall. And then like she got her computer. Like so we're like usually in the same room and we're like, hey, did you check that email?
So
Did you
you set it up very similarly to if you were working with any other person, like almost like a cubicle,
I
you
guess you
got
could
your
say
own
that, yeah.
sections. So really what I want to know now is how serious does it get between y'all during work hours, or do y'all keep that kind of like lovey play feel in the workspace? Because that's what I noticed. It kind of helps me, like
That's a funny
me
question
and
because
Leanne, we paint
yeah.
together recently, and honestly, when I can walk past her and just kind of swipe her hair,
Yeah,
tap her
yeah, yeah.
on the butt, it makes me.
Right.
I'm ready to work a
Yeah.
couple more hours, honestly,
Lets each
because I
other
know,
know that
right?
y'all,
So
still like into each other a little bit.
yeah,
So this might be a bad answer, but it just seemed like on our good business days, our
mm,
relationship flow a little better, and and that might be more me. Like it just, man, it's a
yeah,
finances is like an underlying like stress.
mm-hmm.
I was telling ChatGPT like, man, being broke is like an underlying health disorder. Like it's like it's always there. If you don't cure it,
Yeah,
it's constantly making you feel away.
mm-hmm.
And so you may not want to interact with anyone, wife or not, girlfriend or not, like, um, we still, of course, like know what it is. Like it's business and it's relationship, but yeah,
Yeah,
on our good days, yeah, it's definitely a little more. The vibes are much higher where we
yeah. I
are.
mean, that's
Yeah.
good because I honestly feel like most people they try to, promote, you know, get your space,
Mm-hmm.
do this, that, and the other. But what I've been hearing lately from the people I'm looking up to, working with your significant other most of the time actually can help you, and I just don't see why getting space is 100% necessary. I've
So,
actually thought the
man,
opposite.
I was recently telling somebody else like I don't have these conversations often with guys. I don't really feel like guys like their wife. I don't
Wow.
really feel like guys like the lady that they with. Like,
See, okay, let me ask you a question about this. Would you trade places with any of those guys?
nah. They
That's what
seem
I'm
unhappy.
saying.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you're unhappy with your situation, and on
Mm-hmm.
top of that, you're not even in
Right.
the situation that, like,
Yeah.
that's
So
why I don't see
it's
why
like
space is
it's going
necessary.
to be hard for them to run their business and even
Mm-hmm.
run their finances. Like if I'm saying like, man, we are together a lot, and I don't recommend it for everybody. There's like everybody got different like personalities and all that,
Yeah,
but like I feel like you should like the person you're with as well as love them because there's a difference. Like
yeah,
there's a difference in that. So when you like them, it makes a relationship, go
yeah,
much
yeah.
better.
That's so true, man. I'm working with my fiance, and I like it. It's working. As Kevin said, it's working for him too.
Yeah.
So speaking of relationships working, let's talk
Yeah.
about that Chat GPT relationship you
Yeah.
got
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
with Chat 5. You told me you had Chat create articles for you. You told me you had Chat come up with schedules and,
Yeah.
scripts from podcasts that you've listened to, that you've done.
Yeah.
Give me something that is a tip for someone else to use, but it's also just a story of your own, like something you've already
Okay.
done.
So, like, I've been using ChatGPT since like 2023, since it
Yeah,
was like Chat 3.5.
yeah.
So it was like Chat 3.5 for a while. Then it was Chat 4. It was like 4.0 and 4.1, and
A lot of
today,
us are late.
yeah. And so while a lot of us are late, a lot of us are early. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, people just don't know. Like I feel like they're still running from it. Last year I was like, man, it can be kind of scary, and it's getting to a point. Like I can show you some visual stuff,
Yeah.
like stuff that like me, like I've taught my brothers and just friends, people that got access to me, like, oh, this is what you do. This is
Mm-hmm.
what you're supposed to do. This is
Mm-hmm.
what you can turn it into. So like I got a brother. He plays sports. He's a wide receiver at the University of Maine. So
Mm-hmm.
he's playing football, and during the season, he killing it, returning punts, kickoffs, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Off season hit, he full blown music, and his music is amazing. So I'm like, look, you can't just make good music though. Like,
Yeah.
what is the plan beyond you going to the studio, recording, uploading it, and people listening, or at
Right.
least you trying to get people to listen? We are starting to create visuals using so Sora is through OpenAI. That's like OpenAI created ChatGPT. We also use what's called um, wow, I'm drawing a blank. It's through Google Flow.
Okay.
So something called Google Flow, VO3.
Right.
So I hope I'm not talking over people's heads like that. But
Hey, we're gonna rewind it
man,
back.
so what we do is basically we might take lyrics from the song.
With VO3.
Yeah. So between ChatGPT,
Right.
VO3, so they're like a couple different AI softwares, apps
Okay.
that we make them work together.
You combining forces. I
Yeah,
see. I
so
see.
we had the album rollout. So we wanted to do like 3 videos, and we wanted to do like an interview where we took lyrics from all the songs,
Right.
loaded them into ChatGPT, and it created an interview. So I was like, all right, what's 15 questions we need to ask to really get people
Mm.
intrigued, ready for this album to drop? And
Yeah.
so we were, it was like, all right, this is your second album. What do you want people to get from it? And then, all right, you titled this song this. What's the meaning behind all that? So,
Right.
it was nice to come up with all that. And then from the lyrics, from the answers that he gave, we created prompts to create
Mm-hmm.
visuals,
Mm-hmm.
and then it creates 8-second visuals, and then it can turn from 8 seconds, then you add on to it, make it 16, and then you got like a 30-second crazy visual. You drop
Man.
the music behind it, or the voiceover from the interview,
Yeah.
and
And see,
you have
what
something to share.
comes to mind when you're saying all this,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of people who say, like, it's hard to make money doing the thing I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
But you just turned one thing into 5 things.
Yeah.
So it's like it might be hard to make money doing exactly what you're doing, but maybe other streams of income can be created from
Yeah.
that, just using AI.
Right.
Like tours and
Yeah.
CDs, and not CDs, but streaming
I mean,
and
if
all
you're
that is
if
what.
you're an artist, you're building a relationship with the people that vibe with your music.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times when you vibe with somebody's music, they have a mentality or ideology that you can rock with.
Yeah.
You know, so if you are a Kendrick Lamar fan and he says we gonna be all right, you might want a shirt that says we gonna be all right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you a Drake fan and it's you know, and I started from the bottom, you know, like
Right.
so you can start to create merch, you know, that caters to that age group, that demographic. Like, what are they wearing? What are they using?
Yeah.
You know, what do they like to have that's a part of them? And you can start creating around that.
Yeah.
From the photography space, though, like it can tell me even like what to teach on. Like, because people ask me photography questions all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I can go and say, hey, like for the person that is you know, in their first year of photography.
Mm-hmm.
What are the top questions that are being asked? And it can give me 10 questions and
Shit.
then it can write the answers or I can answer it the way I would like to, but we can create a newsletter. We can create you know, a blog post to drop on the site cuz the thing is my site does a lot of the heavy lifting through blogs. So
Mm-hmm.
when we talk about the my wife relationship, we kind of in a I was about to say we in a threesome with ChatGPT.
Oh gosh, man. Hey,
so,
listen.
so
That's what it's gotta be. It's what it's
so
gotta be.
look, so I was telling somebody yesterday, like she wrote my blogs for the year
Mm-hmm.
on January 1st.
Yeah.
Hey, I need 52 blog topics for a portrait and sports photographer. You know, it already knows I got the photo booth, the
Man.
360 booth, the photo studio,
Yeah.
that you know that doubles and triples as a workshop space, podcast space, and
Mm-hmm.
so she has the 52, 55 blog topics, and then one by one, it's write the blog out, and then it's a copy and paste, and she schedules them. So
Mm-hmm.
one drops every week for the year, and when people are searching for these things, it takes them to my site. Then you get to the site and you're like reading, and you're like, oh, I'm already on a photography site.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see the gallery. Let me see the weddings. Let me see the
Yeah.
sports. Let me see. So it has me ranking number one for sports photographers in Maryland.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you search that, like mine pops up, no ad spin, no boosted posts,
Yeah.
stuff like
See,
that.
listening to other people's stories, you can't miss the lessons. You got to understand through all of this, he's telling you how he's, creating the blog and how pushing to number one. But what is it that you're doing in your business that you could simply just go to ChatGPT and say, hey, help me out? What is something I would say you consider a bad question? Because I feel like people, when they use ChatGPT, they're still acting like it's
That's a good
Google,
question. What is a
right?
bad question?
So,
Yeah.
what is the question, or maybe two or three, that people should just stop talking to chat like this? You know?
So I feel like people wanted to do everything. I feel like people
Yeah.
wanted to tell them what to ask. Like
Sing, dance,
sometimes,
and right. Yeah.
sometimes you gotta give it something. You know, you can't say, hey, build my website, and it doesn't know who you're catering to,
Right.
who you are, what experience you have. Like you really have to like give it something. So I have seen where people are like, man, I tried ChatGPT and it was a waste of time. And it was like, well, you know, what did you ask? And it was like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I wanted to get me customers. I wanted it to, and it's like, all right, well, in what industry?
Right. Right.
And what do you do well?
So those
And what do
basic questions,
yeah,
really,
yeah, yeah.
just
Like
like,
you gotta
okay.
still give it something. It's not gonna, it knows a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't know about you what you haven't given to it.
Right.
Yeah. So it's
So if
just
you have a business, don't be so, you know,
vague, so broad.
vague.
Like
Yeah, don't
give
ask it,
some, yeah.
how can I get 100 clients? Maybe you should say something like, I'm a football coach
Yeah.
and I live in Texas and I would like to get 100 clients under the age of 20.
Yeah.
You see the difference
I
in what
mean,
I
you
just
can
did?
even so the example you gave, like being a football coach or somebody that's training football, like you could say, like, man, what are the top things? What are the top questions that athletes are asking? Like, what do they want to improve? And
Mm-hmm.
it might be, what is my easiest path to the NFL?
Mm-hmm.
It might be, how do I, how can I be a walk on a Division 1, football team, something like that. Like a lot of people have lofty goals,
Right.
and so it can help you navigate, help them navigate to getting to their goals.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, see, we talked about working with the significant other and AI, but let's really go down to like the monthly income,
Yeah.
right? Say you're doing something and you're working with your partner, you're using AI,
Mm-hmm.
but you still feel like the amount of money I'm making isn't what I want it to be.
Yeah.
What's something that you would do, mindset, or maybe, using tools, maybe just talking to your wife, or what's something that you do to recalibrate the goal? You know, how much money you would actually like to make? Is that something you revisit every month?
So we don't really revisit how much we would like to make every month. There are times where she'll say, "Hey, to stay on track with this goal that we had, this is
Mm-hmm.
what we got to do. This is
Mm-hmm.
the numbers we got to hit." So August, September, October, that's starting to get into my busy season. So
Mm-hmm.
like last year in the month of September, we photographed like 1,100 athletes
Right.
between rec
Wow.
teams, between club like volleyball teams, and then I got signed on to do a private school. So for
All
this
right.
all women's private school, we we photographed every sport, and so we kind of had a number like, okay, the
Mm-hmm.
average per player that we photograph is like 25 per.
Mm-hmm.
And so even if someone doesn't buy a picture or a print, there's somebody that's going to spend 50. There's somebody that's
Yeah.
going to spend 75. There's somebody
Right.
that's going to spend 7. Like we
Mm-hmm.
have, I think our lowest item is like $7 or whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, I feel like, all right, we know like we're spending $20. So we use a lot of paid like AI. So
Mm-hmm.
like when I'm using captions AI, it's $9.99 a month. But for me to be able to teleprompter, for me
Right.
to be able to use that, for me to be able to record a video, drop it in there, it gives the captions, it does the zooming in and out because you want to keep somebody's attention when they're watching the video.
Yeah. The
So
edits.
yeah, so it does that, and then it can be landscape or it can be portrait, and
Mm-hmm.
then you can add music or sound effects. Like there's like
Mm-hmm.
little things that it really like adds to your workflow. And then the ChatGPT, I pay 20 a month,
Right.
she pays 20 a month.
So it's okay. So you
Yeah,
got
so because
multiple.
she's like so into like her systems and automation, and she's doing vision boards now. Like people are having her come and speak and do stuff. So
Oh
she
wow.
has to have like her own thing because we
Mm-hmm.
were doing it like we were sharing one, and it
Yeah.
was kind of mixing up the messages a little bit where it was like,
Right.
"Oh, Megan Ewing, you shot this uh a portrait session," and it was like, "No, I'm Megan that does this. Kevin does this." So it was
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what? Look, I'm gonna make money using this product.
Yeah.
So hey, if you got a paid one and I got a paid one, we'll do it
Right.
like that.
Right.
Cause she actually just recently got the paid version of CapCut, and
Okay.
she's like
I've heard
dropping
about
a
that.
bunch of like she might go to the grocery store and just
Yeah.
show the life of a working mom, a hustling mom, or whatever. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
content.
Yeah.
She'll drop her walk into the grocery store and then 5 pictures, and then another little video might be one of the kids in the cart or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so the cat cut is
Right.
bang bang, like putting it together. So
See, everything he's saying's got me thinking of 3 points. First one is make the content, because even though you might be a photographer, a painter, whatever it is you do, people still want to see you at the
yeah,
grocery store, you walking your kids to school, or anything like that. The second point is when you started talking about how much you spend on chat,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
My mentor, my credit mentor, Herman Dulce, he said, "Stop being cheap trying to be rich." There's probably about 5 to 10 people that heard you say, "I spent 20
yeah,
here, $10 here," and it's
mm-hmm,
like, yeah, nah, I'm
yeah.
already paying for this, that, and the other. But in reality, that
Yo,
$20
but
versus the Netflix 20 is
we
way
haven't
different.
had cable in like 14 years.
What?
We haven't had. I mean, you got to make your sacrifice where you gonna make it. Like
Hey,
the stuff
very
that's
true.
on, A&E, the stuff that's on
Mm-hmm.
BET, whatever other acronym you want to use, like just not as interesting as us winning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're
That
gonna have to cut costs somewhere to add it somewhere else. Like she just started paying a VA. Like,
Wow. Yeah.
so
Okay.
for, 15, 20 an hour, if it can handle tasks for 8 hours a week, so say it is $20 an hour for 8 hours a
Mm-hmm.
week. She's
Mm-hmm.
paying out 160. If she can make more than 160 in that 8 hours,
You,
that's she might
yeah.
charge 160 an hour for something.
And see, that brings me to the third thing that I literally was about to say it, and you just proved it even
Yeah,
more. The details matter. Like you
yeah,
were already talking about how AI isn't really good for you unless you feed it something, right?
yeah,
The details that you're bringing up, like earlier, he's like, oh, one student, might want pictures this much and pictures worth this much. Like that's all
yeah.
something that matters and
Right.
needs to be, if you're going to use ChatGPT, fed to it. So what I would say is, right, or ask, how would you use chat to collect data for someone who isn't thinking the way that your wife is, or you now
Yeah,
after doing business for as long as you have? How does somebody starting off ask chat to help them capture details
yeah.
that will then allow me to go back into chat with those details and just keep going?
So I mean, we was talking about like the goal setting,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So say we do have a goal of doing, I don't know, 20,000 in the month of September. So we
Mm-hmm.
can, like, leading up to September, we can be like, okay, if our average is, or shoot, it can actually analyze like Excel sheets, spreadsheets. We
Mm-hmm.
can drop a spreadsheet of like what's been spent between teams, between like a family. All right, the family sees their photos, um, and they didn't buy on the first time they visit the site, but they went back in two
Mm-hmm.
days later. Was like, all right, this is what I need. So it can even analyze how many visits that the
Yeah.
site has gotten. It can
Mm-hmm.
analyze, all right, so on average, it's 25. So 25 times 40 is what, like, it can break that down much quicker than, one of
Right.
us would. And it'll help you see, like, okay, you don't have enough teams yet to be
Mm-hmm.
comfortable with what you're shooting. You
Mm-hmm.
might need to aim this way. Or it can even say, you know what, maybe all right, so we was talking about the rush fee. So
Right.
you can even add like little fees where it's like, hey, get your pictures even sooner if pay this,
Mm-hmm.
or even larger, add a even larger print, or
Right. Right.
do a round print, because I don't ever really even see like round prints like
Yeah.
that. Like you normally see like just the regular rectangle or
And
square, like.
see, sticking the details.
Mhm.
I'm gonna explain that rush fee before the video started, right? We were talking about, oh man, it'd be awesome if you were at an event taking pictures and you could just, get them the photo. And then he gave the example of, well, what about the one client who wants the photo right now?
Yeah.
I got to add on that rush fee. And I was like, you can charge for the details that someone else doesn't pay attention to. That's why you need to know the details. It's not just for Chat GPT. It's so you can charge properly. There are people who want things faster, who don't care how long it takes. There are some people who, just are gonna find something wrong because they paid too much already. So that
Yeah.
they pay you up front, and now they try to
Oh, I
pick
got
every little
somebody that
thing.
want a refund right now.
Right.
I got
So
somebody that want a refund right
paying
now.
attention
Yeah.
to the details can help you fight that. People honestly just trying to catch a break.
Yeah.
They'll get it if you don't know the details. If you don't know what it takes to make what you do happen, you might end up charging not enough. So pay attention to details.
Yeah, so you had brought up content, and the one thing that like kind of stuck out. I mean, and I learned it like through like the events that we're at right now,
Mm-hmm.
is it builds trust. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they want to feel like they're dealing with a good person, an honest person.
Mm-hmm.
How much do we relate? Like, I think I was telling my wife, I'm like, man, Shan's, David Shan's, like, I finally bought a ticket to an event last year.
Mm-hmm.
I have screen recordings of his from like 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
I brought a book of his. I was considering like trying to get it signed or whatever. Opened it up a little bit, seeing what was in there, because it's a networking book. We had a networking event, so
Right.
it's a networking book, and the copyright's 2018. And
Wow.
I'm like, oh, like, I really had to, like, he spent a long time building trust with people, and I see the fashion. I see he has kids. I see he has a wife. Like, it's not that he's just good at helping people make money. like, because there's a lot of people that I feel like help people make money, but seeing his sense of style. Oh, I rock hats just like that. I like the J's he got. Like,
That's so
and
true.
then you'll see like you'll kind of notice things that you gravitate to a certain person, because there are other people that, like I said, make money and you just like, I probably wouldn't be cool with him. Like,
Right.
so I don't know how much I'm gonna spend money with him. So if you out painting,
Yeah.
and you're like, man, this is how I get ready for paint, and you listen to trap music the whole drive.
Right.
Like, yo, that's how I get ready for work.
Somebody gonna vibe with it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's like they might book you based off that alone.
Yeah.
Somebody might see a video of me hooping and be like, dang, like he hoop with his son? That seemed like a good family man. I wouldn't mind him coming and doing a portrait session at my house.
Right.
So it's figuring out like how you can like gain trust of your potential customer, client, and that person that is in your audience.
See, I'm getting some key takeaways from this conversation. Have a trusted significant other to help you grow your business. Use ChatGPT. Use details. You have to stay detail oriented, especially when you're trying to build something. You're not just some hobby on the weekend. When you're trying to make money and build something, you got to pay attention to the details and build trust. Post content. That's the key takeaways that I'm getting from this conversation right now. And honestly, that's what I'm trying to do with y'all.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, and you talk a lot. We're talking a lot about giving detail. I don't want to scare people. Like, you don't have to give it your address. You don't have to give it your kid's age. You don't have to give it, a bunch of things that are like real info. But when you have them goals that you're looking to get to, you can say like, dude, I'm tired of being broke. I'm trying to make this amount of money. This will put me here. These are my bills. I mean, you can even do that, and it'll say like, hey, you don't even have to work that hard. This is how we can get to, like, because it's acting as a friend. It's acting as an assistant. I mean, I don't know. Me and my chat have grown kind of close.
When the last time you took a ChatGPT vacation?
Like, not used it?
Just left it alone, didn't do nothing with it, or you've been like everyday life?
We use it every day.
Yeah.
We use it every day. I mean, there's times when we be like, "Oh, chat's down. We got to come up with something on our own."
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, and I have access to Gemini. Gemini is through Google.
Okay.
People talk about Claude. People talk about, I believe it's called Grok. It's from Elon Musk.
Okay.
But I mean, obviously, I couldn't even say it properly.
This is not professional advice. Do your research.
But they're all competing.
Yeah.
I believe Meta has something that they, AI that can help you just like all the other ones. You just find it's just like photography for me. Like,
right.
So people are like, yo, what's the best camera? I'm like, what's the one that's going to help you get the job done? I'm the homie with the Sony.
Yeah.
So I'm always big Sony. Like, I'm always saying like, man, Sony is the route you got to go. But I've seen people get busy with a Nikon. I've seen people get busy with a Fuji. I've seen people get busy with a Canon. So if ChatGPT is not your cup of tea and Claude is, or Gemini is, that might just be the tool that works for you. So
that's a good point.
It's not just ChatGPT.
And it kind of takes me back to like what you just said, building trust through the content. It's like chat kind of has to build.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
We have to learn to trust it. So whichever one fits, is the one we got to stick with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Speaking of vacations, when's the last time you took a vacation? Or you be working all year?
So the last time I took a vacation was probably beginning of 2023. Well, I take that back. So we do take the kids to Ocean City. We got Ocean City in Maryland. So we'll go and do that couple days in May, and then we got another time we go in July.
It's like staycations. You don't gotta travel too much.
But a lot of times, if I'm out of town, I'm trying to work. So I was just in Jamaica. My wife and I was just in Jamaica. That was actually our first time being away from the kids together, like 5 years. So you've seen me twice out of town, never met my wife.
Yeah.
Like, she's going to Greece in October, so she got like a 2-week cruise or something like that. She's going to Greece or something like that.
Right.
So we got to alternate when it comes to the kids. Like we can it's hard to find a babysitter for two. And now our oldest, he'll help out a little bit. So we have three. But yeah, we went to Jamaica, man. We worked a boxing camp.
Wow.
So Lennox Lewis, former heavyweight champion of the world, we were out there. Him and his wife Violet, they got a nonprofit. It's called the League of Champions. And so with the boxing camp, it's not just fighting. It's not just defending yourself. It's life skills. It's having a vision. And so my wife, she's big into vision boards, and then having a real actionable plan beyond that. Because you can say, "Oh, I want $1 million. I want a Lamborghini. I want a big house or whatever."
Well, that's
but
the general statement.
Yeah. But it's like, what did the kid in you want?
Right.
Before life told you couldn't have it.
Do your kids ever reveal something that you wanted as a kid? You know what I mean?
Man, well, go ahead, elaborate a little bit.
So, I don't have any kids.
Yeah.
But same way you're working with your wife and it's expanding your business. Have you ever had a conversation with your kids or brought them with you while you're working and noticed the way they act or look at something is how I should be doing it, but I let the adult me take that away?
When I was growing up, I wanted to rap. I wanted to hoop. I think I'm like every black kid anyway. I mean, so I know I'm like, as we get older, people are starting to really express their affinity for anime. And so I wasn't really into that, but I was like into hip hop. I was into hooping. I was into playing football.
Right.
And so if it wasn't going to be that, I don't really know what I was going to do.
Another day, another job. Brandon J Services, working on an interior right now. Need anything done in Beaufort, South Carolina, call my number right here at the bottom of the screen.
But my mom was always go to school, get a good job, stay in that joint for 30 years, 40 years, and then you can bow out. I want all my kids to rap. I want all my kids to make beats, and I want them all to be creative.
Yeah.
So I love when my kids come to the studio. I love when my kids are on location at a shoot with me, where they're seeing how I'm interacting with kids, where they're seeing how I interact with an adult, seeing how that conversation goes, and then saying, hey, you don't have to be a photographer, you don't have to rap, you don't have to make beats, you don't have to hoop. You can find the thing that you like really enjoy doing and monetize it.
Yeah.
Like my kid, like I got one son, when you bring up food, he just light up. Like he plays video games, he likes sports, but if you bring up wings, you bring up bacon, you bring up chocolate chip cookies, I'm like, we might just do a chocolate chip cookie pod. If that's the only way I can get you to talk. No, matter of fact, we was talking about doing a wing podcast, like not necessarily hot ones, but just, hey man, let's have a conversation over these wings, or at least see
that could work.
Yeah, you good. Yep. Thank you. Yep, you good. So yeah, man. I want my kids to see what we got going on, so they can just build on top of that.
And see, this is another thing. I like talking to people that have kids, because I definitely want some one day.
Yeah.
But I love these conversations because I hear quotes all the time, from people who have kids and stuff like that. And I think it was Alex Ramosi that said this. It probably wasn't his quote, but he said, "Hard times create." You know what I'm saying?
Boy,
strong.
It's probably
people.
not his quote.
Yeah, you know
because
where I'm going with it, right?
Yeah, definitely. Hard times create softer.
I think it's hard times create strong men.
Yeah.
And then strong women create good times. But then the good times create lazy men and women, and the lazy women.
We're trying to find that balance, man.
Yeah.
It's been tough to find that balance. So, we realize our kids are a little lazy, just due to I think both of our parents, like my wife's parents and my parents, like put that hard work into us.
Right.
So where we doing dishes, laundry, cutting the grass. You don't have time to cut the grass, she'll jump out, cut the grass. If you gotta go and like drop the car off, get the oil change, like
Okay,
we're not
so
necessarily saying I mean, we give the kids chores,
right.
but we just now started to get on them
Hmm.
to start doing the stuff.
That's pretty much where I was gonna go with it. Like, what would you consider hard times for them, knowing where you're at? You know, how could you kind of put hard time on someone where you know they're taken care of? You know, obviously they don't have to go through hard times,
Yeah.
but knowing what you know, how could you or how do you try to create
So
a sense of hard so that way they, strive?
it's honestly just trying to figure out where you can separate them from what you don't like in other children,
Hmm.
because you just move around and observe, like, all right, man, this kid's being a brat, I wonder what he's complaining about, or you might see, you can kind of view what spoiled like looks like. And I
Yeah.
will always, like, we always say, like, yo, y'all spoiled, like, y'all get whatever, but
Yeah.
they don't really know any other life. We know a life where we didn't get what we wanted off
So
the
you
bat.
can
Yeah.
compare. That's where that word comes
Right.
from. Because you
That's where it
compare.
comes from. But a lot of kids now get what they want.
Yeah.
A lot of kids now get what they want. So they probably don't even. Okay, so you know about spray grounds, like
Spray grounds.
those backpacks with the like teeth. It's like a
I do.
yeah. It's
They
like the
kind of look
pattern.
like the bathing ape looking
Yes.
backpacks.
So
Yeah.
I got one of my sons. He's into that heavy right now,
Uh huh.
and he's like, "Yo, it's only 80. It's only 95." I'm like, "Are you about to wear that to school, or like, what's the deal?" He was like, "A bunch of kids got these." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like, you just last year you wanted a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Now you want this, and now you want that, and
It's great. He
yeah.
probably got the cell phone and then he saw the backpack on the cell phone. The first gift
Yeah,
helped
yeah,
him
yeah,
want the
yeah.
second one.
But I can remember being 16.
Yeah.
My mom wasn't buying me no phone. Like,
Yeah.
we worked for our, like, when I was 16. Like, she was like, you can have a phone if you buy it, pay the monthly, all that. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm getting it from. But they don't know any other life than this. So it's hard to necessarily say they're soft or they're spoiled just because it's not the life
Mm-hmm.
that I live. So, like, I am trying to find
Mm-hmm.
that balance where it's like, hey, you gonna wake up early, you know, earlier. You know, like, because they was doing like the 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock. I'm like, nah, we can't do that.
Okay. Yeah. Everybody has their own sense of struggle.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that makes
So
sense.
hey, you gonna get up, you gonna read a little bit today, you gonna write a little bit today, and just that separates them
Yeah.
from what a lot of kids aren't doing.
Right.
So that may be that thing that makes them tougher, or exposing them to ChatGPT. My daughter, if you use the free version of ChatGPT, it has a limit.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter ran through her limit. Like, oh, you can't ask another question until 12:20 tonight. Like,
Right.
you maxed out your query for the day.
So
So
ironically,
yeah,
their struggle could be exposure. Because if you expose a kid to so much, they got to learn about it, they got to use it, or they have to admit that you ignored it. Some kids grow up and go, man, I was never taught that.
yeah,
Dang, I'm where I'm at because my parents never showed me this.
yeah.
So at the same time, you could be forcing them to struggle and you looking at it as spoiled, but
Yeah.
they are probably
I
going
like that. I like
dang,
that. I'll
I've
take
never
that.
AI is fuck, I have to learn. Yes, son.
Yeah.
Like I do.
Yeah, because I mean, when I was growing up, my mom, she was like, "You gonna be on a computer? You better learn how to type. The world is going towards computers." Which,
there you go.
and now we didn't necessarily learn how to type because we couldn't necessarily predict cell phones when I was like 10, 11 years old. So we doing everything heavy like in our phone. But she was like, "Nah, you need like 50 words per minute. You better like learn that." So we were working like on these different things when we were younger that our kids, it just looked like they got it a little easier.
Your mom saying you better learn how to type is the same as you say you better learn this ChatGPT.
Yeah,
because it's like in the future you gonna need
it. My daughter, she be on Canva.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different little software that
that's good.
we gotta expose them to. So
yeah. I think that's good, man. Honestly, just having the whole family involved, in my opinion, is the best way to go about business, right? Because something you said earlier, made me think of Myron Golden. It's completely off topic. Oh, this is what it was. You said almost paid off the house. He started one day. I'm watching videos. He's talking about how he started his business and brought his daughter in. You know, brought his wife in, and everybody's working on the business. Now he's making a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Starting to find out, oh dang, we can do this with money. We don't have to spend ours. We don't have to da da da. He said the craziest thing, right? When you talked about your mortgage, he said, I put every dollar that I make towards my mortgage. I don't pay the mortgage. I pay more.
Yeah. That's how we
Now-
got ahead. Yeah.
Now that I've done that, I can go to the bank and borrow money against my house to pay my bills. Knowing I've got a business, knowing my family's we're gonna make it, he borrowed from his own equity, and it was like he's like I'll never lose because my house is appreciating.
Yeah.
So every year I technically have more borrowing power, and I'm smarter. Like he just it was the best conversation I heard, because he started off talking about how I got rich using my family. Now the very house that I'm in with my family is paying for our stuff.
Yeah, man.
And so you're well.
No,
on
I
your
love
way.
Myron. I haven't met him yet. That's like I mean, after seeing Eric Thomas this morning, he might be like one of the only guys that I would like to meet. Like I met Neo.
Mhm.
I met Dave.
I was telling Leanne earlier, every person that we look up to, like the people you just mentioned,
Right.
are all Myron and ET students. They were either a student of Eric Thomas or they were either a student of Myron Golden. And we didn't even know that they were students of Eric Thomas, because he's not like Myron. He doesn't bring the students forward and expose and tell you what. But ET, him 500, Nehemiah Davis, they met at an Eric Thomas event.
His name? Who? You said Neo
And him 500.
They met where?
They met at a Eric Thomas event. Like they were there, not who they are now.
Yeah.
And
so I wonder a lot of, and I hope that it's like, okay, I might be a student of Shan's,
right?
And no one will know.
That could be our story.
Exactly. We met at an event.
And then 5 years, we're the next wave of, I call them influencers, because obviously that's what we're doing when they get to watch us online. But like, that's why I'm trying to let people know, how are you actually going about running your business? Because I'm painting, you're taking photos, but we can't just show that. We got to show the stuff that makes us, one, keep going, two, actually progress. Because a lot of people will say, oh, I got 20 years experience. Yeah, doing the same thing over and over again. But 20 years experience to me is Myron Golden, is Eric Thomas, because they have each year elevated. You're not in the same spot after 20 years. That's how I look at experience.
So when you bring those guys up, because I'll look at some of them and be like, I feel like I fit in that circle. But if you ever like think about how school was, and there had the table of these people, the table of these people, and I, after a while, just was like, I think I'm about to make my own table.
Yeah.
I'm about to, like, my table, like, they got their table looks fire. They got a cool table.
Right.
I might have missed that table. It's time for us
That's the seniors.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm in the sophomore year, and I ain't mad at it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let them graduate. I'll be like, woo.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be a senior one day.
Definitely, we gonna graduate.
That's how
graduate to something. Yeah.
Because, like you said, school. Man, I love how you said that, because when you go to school, what was happening, right? We didn't have to pay to go on the bus, but now we pay for the bus. Even if it's our car, we're paying to ride from A to B.
Right.
Then when you got in school, what happened? Oh, you go to this class because of the schedule that was given to you. But now we choose the job. Still going to class to meet up and socialize, but the schedule is up to us.
Definitely.
And I look at money as grades. Because in school, what groups hung out? The C kids, the failures, all them AP chemistry and top of the class students, they hung out together. Now look at us. There's only so many people at these events. There's only so many people at those McDonald's or lower tier jobs, So I look at it as like, in school, they taught us, get good grades, you'll do better in school, socially, this, that, and the other. After school, though, make money and you'll do good in school, socially, and everything. Because how else would you get to these events or be able to even consider yourself, in the same cafeteria as these guys sitting at tables and stuff? It's like the money.
Yeah.
You get your
Yeah.
finances
Right.
up and you can actually make something happen, So it's a good conversation, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm glad we brought up everything we did because people watching, y'all need to understand where you at right now is exactly where you are. That's it. You don't have to, over romanticize like where you're gonna be 10 years from now. Just know where you're at is where you're at. And 10 years from now, it shouldn't be the same. Don't try too hard to predict what's gonna happen because if you don't reach it, now you feel like a failure, right? Now you feel like you ain't do shit because of your goal was a little, too high. But at the same time, you set a high goal and you don't reach it knowing you're still going, that's a better mindset to have,
Yeah.
What you think about all of that?
I was about to say, so today I feel like we learned a lot about us already having the thing that we thought we was looking for.
Yeah.
We you don't even really need a cosign really. It's just doing it. It's just doing you well.
Yeah.
So right now we just doing us. There's like no real expectation. Like we expect some people to watch, but we're not like, oh, we're gonna get a brand deal off this, or we're gonna get a sponsorship off this. We just really dressing how we want, conversing how we want, and that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really just finding what you do, who you are, and living in that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Legacies are not built off excuses. They're built off of people who decided to start. It's not about where you're at. It's about the fact that you began, that you're progressing, paying attention to the details. You know what I'm saying? Paying attention.
And committed to just making it work.
Yeah.
Because I've started a lot of times, but you'll get to a point where it's taking too long.
Right.
And I ain't dead, so it didn't take too long. I just didn't.
That's something I heard David Shan say. He was talking about how people will start and stop and start and stop, and they have been taught that that's okay. But what they really needed to be taught was committing is okay.
Yeah.
Because if you commit and fail, you committed. I went all in and failed. But if you just start and you wasn't even fully committed and then shit ain't and you leave, what if you were 2 videos away from succeeding? What if you were 2 pictures away from getting that contract that you was gonna make way more money than you could think of? So don't quit. Commit, and if anything, fail. And then, can move on. But quitting and failing, I feel like are 2 different things.
They're way different. Because I think I feel like the only way you fail is quitting. For real.
Yeah. Wow, that's an A.
Yeah, right. I feel like, because and you may have heard this analogy. I give my son the analogy of like lumberjack. So chopping at a tree, and the tree not falling. It ain't even, I ain't really even making no progress. I'm gonna go chop another tree. Chopping at the tree. Man, this one ain't really doing too much either. I'm gonna go and you got a forest of 10% chopped trees, and you could have just stayed and knocked one down. That might have been your first business. Scaled that. And then you could have started chopping down that other tree. But a lot of times, when you go all in and you're committed to winning in that thing, you don't really fail. Like, I've been a lot of places because of this camera and never would have thought I would have shot in Jamaica, shot in Costa Rica, shot in being paid to be in Vegas, being paid to be in Orlando, being paid to be in Mexico, like having 4-day all-inclusive stays covered because of skills that I developed when Lord knows I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
Like you'll take L's. You'll take L's, but quitting is the failure.
Right.
Yeah.
See, that's why we do this. That's why we have these conversations, so y'all can pay attention to what's being said and actually act upon this information. It's not okay to just go to your friends and say, "Oh man, it's not okay to quit," and then you tell them about what you quit yesterday. Don't Don't just listen to what we saying and repeat it because it sounds cool. This is real shit. You know what I mean? A year from now, you could really be up because you chose to commit to something. That's what it was, right? Alex Hormozy, he explained there's 5 levels of success. And people always get trapped on the 3rd step, which is why they never see it, right? You got uninformed optimism. That's a person who just found out that you can make money I can make money being a photographer? What? Cool. Now they get the camera, they get the client that's complaining that their left side doesn't look as good as their right side. They're going through it. That's the informed pessimist. Now you're like, damn, I know what it takes. I saw my man successful, but now I'm like,
yeah,
that's what it takes to do.
Right.
Now you feel like a failure. You're down here. Most people go from that step right back up to the uninformed optimist. What, you painting? You can paint a house and make money? And then 3 steps all over and over. But say that same person found out about photography. Right here, they informed about how much it really takes.
Go through, yep.
And now they're feeling like a failure. You know, it's like, damn, I don't like that. But you skip past that step, you become the informed optimist. So now you know clients are gonna have their favorite side. You know the cameras. Okay, you need this lens. But you're informed and you're optimistic because you know what's up. You've done this. That's when success hits. Once you've realized the hardships of the thing you're doing and continue to do it, you'll find success.
I like Hormozy too. I'm gonna have to find that because he definitely delivers some messages. He got the book dropping soon too.
Right, I think that's on the 16th.
Yeah,
and I'm glad it's a virtual event.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna put it on and let it play or something like that. But yeah, y'all really run this video back. You know, once again, we got Kevin Ewing here explaining his business and strategies. You know, if you want to give them a rundown of like any info they need to know about.
Yeah, man. All right, so I am I'm Kevin Ewing Jr. full-time Kev on IG, Kevin Ewing photo on IG. I'm the homie with the Sony on YouTube. We also got the Hustle and Heartbeat podcast with me and my wife. That's where we talk about all the running around we do business-wise. That's the hustle. The heartbeat is the family, is the kids, you know, is our relationship. We just hit 10 years married.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just hit 10 years married. So, yeah, man, I appreciate you having me. Yeah, I do post a lot. I post mostly on Facebook, but I'm getting better at all the other platforms. So it's just Kevin Ewing Jr. on Facebook. But yeah, man, you want to see fire photos? You want to fly me out where you at? You want to, if you in the DMV area, I'll drive to where you at. It's KevinEwingPhoto.com. I do a ton.
You know what it is, man. Another episode of More Action Podcast. We don't just do this for the hell of it. We do it so we can see someone on the other side of this camera succeeding. Take this information, you know, do a little more action than you did yesterday. It's another episode. It's Brandon J. Kevin Ewing.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate talking
Thank
to
you
you,
so
man.
much.
For sure.
Appreciate it.
Get out of here, man.
I'm about to take a picture of our audience real quick.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. I got you.
All right, we good.
Word. What's up?
Life of a hustler, gotta do it for mother, gotta do it for father, even though he act like a sucker. Life of a hustler, gotta do it for granny, gotta do it for brothers, even if they think I don't love them. Been getting